Hello friends. In this video we are going to learn how you can create a REST API using Firebase Cloud Functions. So let's get started. So this is the part 1 of this series. In this video we will just simply create a test API which will handle the request and return a simple response, and also we will learn how we can get the parameters passed. So let's get started. So firstly I will go on to my Firebase dashboard and create a new project. I will name this project Air Restaurant. So here my project is created successfully, and before I proceed further, I would like you to know you need Node.js to install on your system before you can initialize Firebase Functions libraries. So go on to nodejs.org. I will put the links into the description, and you can install the setup for Windows or whatever device you are using, and we will use Postman to test our API. So you can also download the Postman app or use the web version. I will use my desktop version. So now after the project is successfully created, just upgrade your project to the Blaze plan, because Firebase Functions require the Blaze plan, and it's free of charge. You can make 2 million requests a month, so until then you won't be charged. Okay, so after that over here it's showing get started. I will click on that, and over here it's showing to install npm Firebase tools. Okay, so we have already installed Firebase tools. I will just simply initialize a new project. For that I will create a new folder on my desktop. We will name that with our project name. Okay, after the project is successfully created, now I will just simply open this with any code editor. I would prefer VS Code as my code editor. Okay, now let's open up the terminal. For that, just go on to terminal and new terminal. Okay, so let's initialize our project. Before initializing our project, after installing the Node.js library, you just need to install the Firebase tools, and after you have installed this Firebase tools using this command, you just need to log in with your Google account using this command Firebase login. And in this case I am already logged in, so I won't log in. Log in with the same Google account with which you have created the project, and after login, just let's initialize the project. Firebase initialize. We will use init to initialize the project. Firebase initialize. Okay, here it's asking, are you ready to proceed? I will just simply type Y, means yes, and it's asking what we want to initialize. So I will use Firebase Functions this time. Use an existing project because we have already created. Okay, now it's showing the list of all projects which I have created. I will simply select the one which I created earlier. Okay, it's asking us what language you would prefer. I will use JavaScript as my language. I will just simply press enter. Do you want to use ESLint to catch probably bugs and enforce style? Yes, I will do install ESLint. Do you want to install dependencies with npm now? We will do yes. So it will install all the necessary dependencies required for Firebase Functions. So it might take a moment. Okay, so over here the Firebase Functions is initialized successfully. So over here it automatically created a folder named Functions, and over here all the necessary node modules are installed. Okay, so now let me just go ahead and open the index.js file. This is the main file where we will work and create the main API and all the stuff. So in future videos, I will also show you in part 2 how you can connect Firebase functions with Firestore database, so you can process the data and store it in on your server and then process according to the requests. So over here it already has a reference named functions for Firebase functions. We will leave that as it is, and after this has been done, we will just require Express. So let's just install Express. For that, let's enter inside our functions folder. You need to be inside the functions folder before you install Express. Express will be the middleware between our Firebase functions and Firestore. So let's just install Express by command npm -i. I stands for install Express and press enter. Okay, let's try once again. Okay, you need to use install, type install, not -i. Okay, here our Express has been installed, and now we also need to install something known as course. Npm install course. It might take some moment to install in your case. Okay, now after that has done, let's take a reference with Express. Make sure you use double quotes as it is necessary for ESLint, else it may give some errors. Okay, after that has done, we will just create a app reference and connect it with our Express. I will just simply copy paste, and after the app has been created, now we just simply need to give a reference for course, and we need to define our app to use course, as it is necessary for HTTP request to require course for browser based requests. For that, I will use app.use requests. Okay. Okay, and over here we will allow origin as true, so that no one else can make a request from another URL. You can also do that false in your case. It's just for security reasons. And after that, finally we will export our app to Firebase functions. So to export our app to Firebase functions, we will simply write exports.v1. Over here you have to give the name from which it will be exported. In my case, I am giving v1. You can write test or whatever you want. Whenever this Firebase function will be called, automatically it will call the app function, and over here we will write multiple Firebase requests. So exports v1 Firebase. Let me just copy it from here. Okay, so functions HTTPS, we require HTTPS for exporting the function. App function, make sure to give a blank space after the code, so it won't give error during compile time. So now let's create the function, main function. So we will use app.get. We can use any method. This is the main HTTP method. You can use post, you can use delete, or whatever you want depending on the request type. And over here we need to give the request path, so that we will simply put slash, and after that you can just simply give any name. I will give hello world. The main API name will be hello world, and after that we will get the request parameters. For that I will use request, and after this we will use the response thing to give back the response to our client. Okay, so our function is ready. Let's just simply return a test response. For that I will use return res.send. Firstly we will return the status. Okay, you can provide any status, 200, 400 depending on the type, and send a simple test message. Hello world. Okay, let me close this and save this. So this is our simple hello world API, which will return a response hello world. So to run it on local server, what you just need to do is make sure you are in the functions folder. Use the command cd functions to enter this folder. Use the command npm run serve. Okay, so what will this command will do is run a local server on your computer and deploy this this function on a local hosting. Okay, so let's run this command. Okay, so it has started the Node.js server, and over here it we got the URL, the localhost URL. We can also use Firebase deploy to deploy it, but before deploying it we will just test it locally on our system how it works. And over here I will just simply do finish. Okay, let's go on to the Postman. What we need to do is copy this URL. Copy this URL provided in the console terminal. Okay, now in Postman we will create a collection, and inside that we will just simply add a request using this 3 dot. Go on to add request and give it a name test API. Okay, and over here enter the URL, and over here it will be v1 as we defined it in our code. v1, you can define it anything what you want, and after v1 we will type the request name. Over here it is hello world. I will simply copy it and paste it over here. Okay, so now let's see, over here we have used the method get type is get, so we will select the type as get. You can keep anything. Okay, and now let's try and send a simple request. Okay, so wow, we got a response with the hello world. Okay, we can also test this in our browsers, as this is a get request and browser makes a get request, but post requests are not possible in the browser. You need a Postman or any service which will make a post request. Browser makes a get request easily. So you can see we got a response hello world. And now what we will do is like also pass some parameters in the request. For that I will go into body and select the type as raw, and select the type as JSON, and over here let's pass some parameters. Okay, now let's type name and pass some parameter as Firebase. Okay, you can pass phone number, maybe just random number. Okay, so now what we will do is we will try to get this this parameters which the user will pass. Let's just test it. Okay, so now how to confirm whether these parameters are being passed? So let's see how we can get that over here. So for that let's create a variable var. Okay, so you can't use var variable over here as this is Node.js. You need to use constant or let. Okay, constant, let me just give the name. name as name, and over here let's get this value which we are passing. Let us get this value and store it inside this variable. So for that we will need the reference of request req dot body, as we are passing this inside body. You can also pass this inside headers, but I am passing it inside bodies as this is most commonly used. Body dot name. Over here just type the key of the parameter. Over here the key is name. So let us save this and let us return this name as our response. Okay, hello world, the name passed is, okay, we will add that over here, name. Okay, let us just save this, and just after saving it, it will be automatically saved. And let us trigger this request. Okay, wow. As you can see, Firebase, the parameter which we passed, we have got this. So we can successfully retrieve the parameters passed in the body, and we can return that. You can also change the type to post, and after that over here also you need to change it to post. Let's send a request. Let's change the name to my name. Okay, let's send the request. Okay, as you can see, the value is dynamically changing. Whatever we will pass, it will be shown in the response. Okay, so it's working locally fine. Now let's see how we can deploy this on Firebase Functions server. For that you need to open a new terminal, as this is running the node server in this terminal. Okay, so we will just use a simple command, Firebase deploy, to deploy the functions. Okay, let's deploy it. Okay, it might take several minutes, like it's deploying on Google Cloud Functions server, so it might take up to 3 minutes. Okay, so let's wait for the deploy. Before deploying it, make sure you have upgraded your project to a Blaze plan and Firebase Functions is enabled, so that it doesn't gives any error during the runtime. And over here it runs ESLint script to compile this whole script, so you might get some errors in your case. So make sure you have done. Okay, we got some error, HTTP error, unknown error. Let me just try once again, Firebase deploy. Okay, make sure you give all the spaces and indentation as shown in the video. Even if you just give some more extra spaces, then you might face some errors. So make sure everything is aligned and all your code is proper, because ESLint is very strict in compile process. Okay, so this time it is successfully deploying. It's showing creating NodeJs 14 function on V1 US Central 1. Okay, let's just wait for it. Okay, so after 3 minutes my function is deployed successfully, and we have got the URL of the function over here. You can just simply open it in the browser, and from here let's just copy the URL. It is now publicly available and deployed onto the Firebase Cloud Functions server. And let's just open Postman and try to replace this local host with that functions URL. Now it is on HTTPS, so it means it's secure and can be accessible from anywhere in the world. So let's just try to send a test request. The method will be, of course, post. Okay, let's change the name. Okay, so as you can see, it's working perfectly fine. If I try to run this in browser, then it might not work, because it's a post request, not a get request, and browser always makes a post request, get request, sorry. So this was all for this video, guys, and in my next video I will show you how you can connect Firebase Functions with Google Firebase Firestore, and upload data onto Firebase Firestore using REST API. So stay tuned for my next video. Until then, take care. Bye bye. Thank you for watching, and if you like my video, please subscribe my channel as it helps me to make more such projects for you. So thank you friends, and bye.